Hey there, it's Dr. Jim. Thanks for stopping by. I have a serious topic today. It's developing a trauma informed workplace. Okay? Why? Traumatic events and experiences are far more common than we may think and can have lasting effects on a person's life as well as their health. Trauma can be so widespread that it impacts not just individuals but entire communities. Beyond the physical and the psychological consequences of trauma that we normally hear about, research shows that trauma can alter a person's biology as well as their behavior over the course of the person's entire life. That's pretty intense. Recognizing trauma and creating trauma-informed environments at work can yield many positive benefits and outcomes. And that's why I think this is an important topic. Wrote an article. Please share it with your colleagues, print it off and put it on someone's desk, or share the video. So let's define trauma. As professionals, we should understand the devastating effects of trauma on those we work with. Being aware, preventing re-traumatization, and mitigating its adverse effects can promote a healthier environment at work. That's a good thing. But in order to create this better place to work, it's helpful to know some things about trauma. Trauma refers to both injurious events themselves as well as their outcomes, which vary greatly based on a wide variety of personal characteristics and circumstances, including the following: our genetics as well as epigenetics, those factors outside of our genes, our biology, our psychological mindset, our environments, neighborhoods, communities, households, our families, circle of friends, having support or no support, our social lives, and our spiritual lives. While everyone might experience trauma differently, something can happen traumatically right in front of me or you and I can both be involved in a traumatic event. You and I will experience it differently, and it can affect us differently based on all of those variables I just talked about. Whenever a harmful event or experience leads to long-lasting, chronic emotional suffering, it's considered traumatic. And there are some triggers to think about. Survivors of traumatic events may be triggered either consciously or unconsciously by coworkers or colleagues, situations or events occurring in the workplace or simply in the environment itself. Traumatic memories may be provoked through normal encounters, everyday things happening at work, including loud noises, extreme stress, maybe it's a coworker's appearance, or some people's mannerisms in the workplace. While nobody wants to trigger another person who might be suffering, the point is that we might, and without even knowing about it. Here's some examples of events that might cause trauma. We may be unaware that coworkers, colleagues, and other people we work with 5 days a week may have experienced something catastrophic in their lives, an event, a circumstance, either at one point or many times. Sometimes people are traumatized over periods of time. It may be from their childhood. Perhaps they were once in an abusive relationship or a victim of crime or violence. Maybe their child died from an overdose. Most of the time, we just don't know. And that's why this is such an important topic. Examples of catastrophic events or forces that can traumatize people or entire communities include the following: environmental disasters, poverty, discrimination, sexism, war, famine, genocide, torture, terrorism, forced migration, mass incarceration, and a plague of the planet, human trafficking. It's because of these factors and many more that we should learn about trauma and creating a trauma-informed culture in our workplaces. So let's look at if we're going to create this trauma-informed workplace, environment, atmosphere, we need to know the principles, which are the what shall we call them, the building blocks of creating this environment. So a good place to start building such a culture starts with adopting trauma-informed principles, especially because we may not know that our friend or our colleague at work is suffering. There's evidence from research that creating a trauma-informed system can actually improve people's well-being and their health. Think of a trauma-informed workplace as an ecosystem. It's an enclosed system that has a shared vision and a mission, as well as core foundational principles that drive healthy encounters and relationships at work. Trauma-informed principles, write these down if you want to, include the following. Number 1, keep it calm. If you don't want to trigger anybody, of course you don't. If you want to be careful not to re-traumatize while you're interacting with colleagues, co-workers, managers, staff, or anyone else, do so in a calm manner. How are you today? How are things going? Talk to me. Tell me what I need to know. Number 1, keep calm. Number 2, contain. Don't get super dramatic about it. Don't re-traumatize anybody by, oh my gosh, what happened? And I know people who react like that. Literally, they go, what? Unhelpful. Thanks, but no thanks. Instead of reacting like that, or I guess overreacting, being dramatic, or histrionic, if you want to get psychiatric in our language, model behaviors that are healthy. Oh, that sounds important to you. That sounds like it may have caused you some problems or pain. Would you like to talk about this? And then set some boundaries, obviously. 3rd, care. Practice self-care. Take care of yourself. Physician, heal thyself. Caregiver, care for thyself. Practice self-care, self-compassion, so that you have the energy and the positivity to help normalize the situation, normalize the environment. You're not alone. You're not the only person that's been traumatized. Unfortunately, it's far too common. So practice things like that, and you will be healthy enough to destigmatize traumatic symptoms and situations. 4th, cope. Talk about healthy coping mechanisms and skills, engaging in healthy communication, finding someone to talk to, good relationships, and ways that individuals can enhance their resilience. Okay, so developing trauma-informed workplaces also can start with good trauma-informed leadership. Beyond these principles, no culture in the workplace will be sustained without strong and focused leadership that values others and is educated on the effects of trauma. Such leaders can be role models, and they can act in certain ways that will better ensure a trauma-informed workplace. Of course, it's going to take knowledge, patience, skill, care, and a desire to become this type of leader. But preventing re-traumatization, not triggering someone, but instead enhancing the well-being of your workplace Isn't that worth the effort? Here are some strategies and tips. During stressful times, encourage staff to take 10 seconds to breathe. Take 10 minutes to become relaxed and grounded. Take 10 hours to restore their health and their resilience. And if they can, take a 10-day vacation to get completely away from everything. I like that 10, 10, 10, and 10. Employee health and wellness are always considered important. Leaders should monitor for stress and burnout, anger, sadness, depression, anxiety. And then when you see things, do something. Intervene in healthy ways. You be the person who steps up to take care of a situation. Conversations should be had about self-care and healthy living. Leaders are mindful and they're fully present. They are emotionally intelligent. They are with their staff. They avoid triggering words and actions and instead bring healing. Leaders are non-judgmental. They greet everybody with a smile, an extended hand, healthy eye contact. Leaders remain calm even during the worst of storms and stressful times, and they do not react in a knee-jerk fashion. They're better than that. Atmosphere then becomes one of genuine emotions and relationships, where open communication is valued. We don't hide things. We don't lie about things here. We're real. There are no surprises thrown at employees at any given time, but instead, leaders offer enough time and allow enough time for requests or for providing new information that can cause a little bit of stress or anxiety. And leadership, finally, dust off your old policies and procedures and recreate new trauma-informed policies and procedures regarding your staff. Here are my final thoughts. Aren't you glad? Trauma is everywhere, and no one's immune to it. Okay? It can impact any one of us at any given time. That's life. And not everyone is comfortable talking about being traumatized or their experiences. So we can actually be working side by side with someone who has gone through terrible things, which have left them with symptoms of chronic traumatization. Tearing down old workplace cultures and building new trauma-informed environments may lead to healthier and happier employees, where they feel loved, respected, supported, and better understood. There you have it. That's my take on building and developing a trauma-informed workplace. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate you. I'm very grateful because I do take a lot of time, and writing anything decent is time-consuming. And I always want to make sure that I'm reading and researching the best practices that I can find, and I'm very passionate about sharing these things with you. And I'd appreciate it if you shared them. Pass this on to someone who can use it, someone who needs it, or someone in power who can implement the things that we're talking about together. I'm Dr. Jim. Thank you so much, and you keep doing the most wonderful things in life that you can do, taking care of others. Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for your time. If you'd like more information about a great online learning management system with the most wonderful support, best in class support and partnering, please look for the link to the website in the description. You'll love what you see.